Let's take a look at how to use AI to copy a historical style of imagery. This is a really cool project if you want to create new illustrations that match a historical style. So the first thing that we're going to do is go and find a source image, the style that you want. And this can be literally anything. You want to make sure that it's something where the rights are open. So I like to go to the Smithsonian. They have this open access project, and you can search for all these really great historical images. So I'm just going to type in botanical, because let's try to do this by looking for a botanical illustration, and we'll try to match that specific style. So we can scroll through here until we find something that we like. So I happen to really like this one. It's in color, it's that classic style from the 1800s, very vivid, nice design. We can go ahead and download this to our PC. Now we're going to jump over to ChatGPT. You can use Claude, any kind of large language model you want to work with, and we're going to give it a prompt to ask it to basically create a prompt for a different image generator. So we're using the LLM, or chatbot, to create the prompt that we'll then use with an AI image generator, if that makes sense, to recreate the style of the illustration. Because I'm not great at looking at a picture and saying, okay, this is in this particular style, especially an illustration. So we let the LLM do that, and it's usually a lot better at doing that. So the first thing we want to do is type out our prompt. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so here's my prompt. I have a historical image, and I want to instruct an illustrator to create new images in exactly the same style. So we're not going to say it's for a large language model. We're going to kind of almost pretend like we're telling a human, because honestly, if you gave the same info to a human, then that would work well too. So we're asking it to take a look at the image, describe the style, colors, and other design elements in enough detail that a professional illustrator could easily understand exactly how to create new images in a similar style. And we want it to make your response just sentences / paragraphs of text. Don't use lists. The reason for this is that sometimes it'll decide to make this a pretty format, and that doesn't work so well with our image generators to have bulleted lists and that kind of stuff. So got that. Now we're going to go ahead and use the paperclip here, and we're going to attach that image, our sample image, for the style we want. Okay, and now let's go ahead and run this. So I'm using the 4.0 model. That's the current one that's out. There's the 01 too that you could use, but I'm going to do this with the 4.0 just to show you that even if you're on a more basic plan, you can do this. So this image depicts a botanical illustration of a lilac plant, blah, blah, blah. It goes into all of this detail, the appearance, everything here. So we're going to take this prompt. We're going to need to modify it a little bit, but this is overall pretty good. And we're going to copy that, and then we're going to head over to our image generator. And I like to use Midjourney. You can use any image generator you want. Recraft is great, a diagram, whatever you want to use. So in our first run, we're just going to drop it in, and we're going to just run it and see if it can kind of recreate something fairly close to what it was we created or we used for our sample image. So let's go ahead and run that prompt. So here's our results, and that is pretty darn good. So take a look at this. Remember, it didn't see the original image at all. It's just going based on the description that the ChatGPT generated, and compare that to the original. It is super close in style. It even got the yellowed aged paper, and this is a wholly new, totally AI generated image that looks very, very much like the original. So that's our first thing. We've got that sanity check, essentially, that what we're generating generally lines up with what we want. Now we can go ahead and change the prompt to make it generate anything else in that same style. So let's go ahead and copy this prompt back in, and we're just going to modify it to be something a little different. So this image depicts a botanical illustration of a lilac plant, etc. Let's change it to a rose plant. And we'll run that one. So also quite good. Now we've got roses done in the same style. But the super cool thing with this is that if we modify the prompt a bit to make it maybe a bit more general, we can extend it beyond the original intent here. And we can start to create pretty much any image in this style. So I'm going to go through here. I want to make, instead of a plant, I'm going to do a Bichon frise, which is kind of dog, which is what I have. The image depicts an illustration of a Bichon frise. So what we want to do here is generalize it to remove any references to the original subject, which in this case is flowers. So classic and detailed image drawings, scientific drawings, great. Get rid of the botanical. Focuses on the subject in isolation with no background, emphasizing its natural beauty and structure. I think we'll just say, yeah, that's fine. If we were going to do something more mechanical, then we could just, let's get rid of that. Beauty and structure. Colors are soft and naturalistic, delicate shades of green, leaves for the muted pinks. We'll just say delicate shades. The lines are fine and precise. Overall feel is elegant and scientific. Emphasis on accurate representation of the subject's features. So you get the point. We go through and just basically modify first age, blah, blah, blah. Any new illustration should carefully replicate this recent soft colors and fine line work. And color, texture, bring the subject to life. Great. The text annotations should be handwriting and period appropriate cursive style, if applicable. All right, so let's go ahead and run that and see what we get for our Bichon Frise. So here's the result. Pretty good. We've got basically the same visual style there. Kind of accurate scientific drawing. We've got this pretend cursive annotation kind of fading through in the background, the yellowed page on there. So now, of course, we can reuse this prompt as much as we want. And we can put in any subject that we want. It doesn't even have to be something relevant to the historical world. So here's one, for example. I asked it to make this kind of illustration, but of an iPhone. So you can see that goes in, and it even put an apple on it, which I think is pretty funny. But you can basically now take this description and drop in anything you want and recreate that specific historical style. Obviously, you want to disclose that these aren't real historical engravings. You don't want to mess up the historical record there. But if you want to create, some kind of illustration or something in any historical style, really, this will work. So I used a botanical illustration, but you could use other kinds of engravings, paintings, watercolors, whatever it is you want to do. You can use this exact same process to make that happen.